You guys, it's high time we talk about staking avocado trees. I don't think we've ever talked about it. Have we talked about it? Because I don't remember. Maybe, but I don't think so. And I have a great example right now. What I'm dealing with. I can show you guys kind of how things work here. So, let me show. Let's start our discussion here. I think I can turn this thing around, right? You guys know how to use an iPhone? Let's see. How do you turn it around? I got it. It's looking at me right now. Cut. That was a good intro. I figured it out. You didn't think I could figure it out. I figured it out. Didn't take that long. Anyway, look at this crazy situation here. I've got these these big boxed avocados that are just temporarily in my trailer here. These are pretty much ready to send out to the nursery, and I have some others that are not in this new growing area. Anyway, you can see this was all staked up right here, and it was staked up, nice and staked, and then, there was a knot or something in this stake, and the storm cracked it. Where's the other end? It's around here somewhere. Anyway, you have to trust me that there was another end to this, but I pulled it out. I put another stake in. But the thing that I wanted to show you, more so than just the stake, is it's like 1.5 or 2 inch stake or something. But it's interesting. Look, you got one side of the tree that's not staked at all, right? Totally supporting itself. Just happy as can be. No problema. This side, you know what it's saying right now? It's saying, no problema. And we love it when there's no problema. Okay? Now this side is the exact opposite. Mucho grande problema. Look, just bent over. It didn't break. Thank goodness it didn't break. But, and it's huge. Look how huge this section is. It's the main part of the tree, right? Big part of the tree. And and it's way bigger. This part here is way bigger than this part. But look at this. Look at this interesting thing here. Even though this side is way bigger with way more mass, and this side is smaller, this side has a fatter trunk that was never staked. This side has a thin little trunk. All right. So this is the dilemma of staking. Now we have to stake these trees up in order to get them into some semblance of a vertical growing plant. And let me show you why. Uno, dos, tres. Whew. Whew. All right. That comes from years of mogul skiing, being able to do that. Look over here. Look, it's a little cado. It's not so little, but it's from a little cado tree. Little cado makes it big. Everybody thinks that the little cado makes little avocados. Like, I don't want a little avocado. It's the tree that's so little, not the fruit. The fruit's really big. However, the little cado wants to be a sprawling ground cover. It literally wants to grow down. It's so bizarre. Look at this. Look at these things. I have to get in here and stake them up and retrain them. I just didn't get to it. I got too busy. These are totally healthy. Look, they got buds all over them. They're going to explode. I'm going to put my video down below. Gary, why is my avocado tree dying? And you'll see why they're yellow and funky looking right now, because that's just how it is. And look, sunburn right here. I didn't get around to painting that. It'll grow out, no problem, but it just will grow slower because this part of the plant will not transmit nutrients or water. And so, but anyway, I wanted to show you these trees here, like what they do when, you know, they're not staked. They're just naturally grown. Look, it just wants to sprout out the side right there, just grow sideways and literally drape down across the ground. And I bet you if you guys came to my nursery and you saw a big sprawling ground cover avocado tree, you probably wouldn't want to buy it. So anyway, all these places will stake the trees up and force them up and get them into some semblance of a vertical growing plant. They will eventually mound on top of each other and grow vertically, but it's like a mounding effect. It's almost like lava piling up and piling up and piling up versus being forced up. And here's a nice example. you know, and the little avocado is really known for growing flat like that. Not even like a tree, really just like a ground cover bush. And others will do something similar, but not as to that degree. But even this one here, this is a 24-inch box gem avocado. Don't get excited, it's the only one we have. And I think someone already bought it. So, and we're pretty excited to finally get one in a box. But it also would be flopping all over the place if it wasn't staked up. But back to our first plant. The only problem is we're kind of forced to stake these things because you guys kind of want trees that look like trees, right? Not trees that look like ground cover. But when you stake it, you make it inherently weak because the tree thinks it needs to feel resistance in the wind, and then it can decide how to behave and what kind of structures to build. Like if a tree is in the shade, there's no wind, it's in the shade, it reaches out. It doesn't feel any pressure to do anything different than just getting really long and leggy. It thinks it can do it. Well, if you take it out of that condition and put it out where it's windy and exposed, it's gonna just freak out. And same thing with these trees and staking. And if you let a tree just grow up, it'll never need a stake. See, this never ever had a stake. You could just cut this off here. This will turn into a beautiful tree. Tempting to do it. But we'll restake this. So, you know, there's pros and cons to stake. Like I said, you could just trim these trees at a younger size, but you should get rid of the stakes as soon as you can. Usually the rule of thumb is whenever the trunk is thicker than the stake. But when you do that, you should do a hard trim back, like pretty hard. And if you trim back so much that the sun's gonna expose the bark, you're gonna wanna paint that white. Otherwise it'll sunburn like the ones I showed you down here. Do as I say, not as I do. And so you take the stakes off, and you probably don't want to do it right before the winter tempests come. You probably want to do it in spring when we're about to have easy, calm, smooth sailing for 6 or 7 months before the next winter storms come. And you want to cut it back a little bit, paint it, and then let it go for it. So those are kind of like the pros and cons of staking. You stake a plant, it's gonna think artificially that it doesn't need to get strong. And if you unstake it right away, this is what it's gonna wanna do, unless you trim it back hard and just kind of de-stake it gently and maybe a little bit over time. Loosen the stake, let it blow in the wind a little bit. It'll feel the wind, it'll grow appropriately. And then you'll actually be successful in creating some guacamole. Right now it's February, and this is the first one to set fruit. It's Mexicola, and it wants to be a ground cover. Let's fix this steak right now.